Hey guys, what's up? Gabe here, and today I want to talk about something that I've been frequently asked about, and that is endorsements and sponsorships, and how somebody like myself, who isn't that big in the music community in the grand scheme of things, has the endorsements and sponsorships as I do. So in this video I'm going to go over 5 steps on how I got my endorsements, and I'm going to give you 5 tips so you can go out and try to get your own. So first off, tip number 1, you obviously have to be good at whatever you're doing, whether it be guitar, whether it be drumming, whether it be not even music related. You have to at least be in the realm of somebody who stands at a higher tier. Granted, I am not the best musician, I'm definitely not the best guitar player in the world by any means, but obviously I'm good enough that these people are going to see me and be like, okay, he's pretty good, I might want him on my side. Along with being good, you also need to be interesting. And do your best to be different. I know it's hard to be different right now. Everybody's doing the same exact thing, thinking they're being different. Creativity goes a long way, though. My thing with being creative and different, I guess, is don't do the same thing everybody else is doing. A lot of people will see a trend and kind of jump on that bandwagon, and you're just going to get lost in the crowd, and you're not going to look different than anybody else. Tip number 2. Obviously, you need to have a product. If you don't have a product, obviously they're not going to look at you because there's nothing for you to give them. For the people who don't really know exactly what an endorsement deal or sponsorship is, it's a dual thing. A company is only going to take somebody, or a band for instance, who they feel like using their product is going to give them some kind of popularity as well. So, yes, you're getting an endorsement, and you're playing the cool gear, and you're getting this and that or whatever, but they also have to be like, okay, well, we're getting something out of this as well. Obviously, your product being your band, yourself if you're a solo artist, or for instance, a YouTube channel, which a lot of people are doing nowadays. My tip for that is just make sure it's as professional looking, sounding, everything as possible, because the more professional you are looking and sounding, the more people are going to be drawn to you, which in turn, those companies are going to see that. And the more people that are drawn to you, those bigger companies are going to be more inclined to liking your product. And a big thing with that is make sure you already have an EPK and a bio and all that stuff down. So if you're talking to these companies, you have something to send them right away. Tip number 3, which I think is honestly one of the biggest ones and what people really do not understand, do not expect anything. Do not expect getting free stuff, because that is not going to happen. Being realistic is probably the biggest part of looking for an endorsement, because a lot of people come up to me all the time and are like, oh, you're endorsed by Schecter or whatever, and they think I get free guitars from Schecter, or I get free pickups from EMG, or free this or free that. That's not true at all. Unless you are a huge musician, you're Zachy Vengeance or Zach Wild or somebody like that, then yeah, obviously you're getting free gear because you have so much to show for that company. When it comes to somebody like myself, or an average musician who is trying to get an endorsement deal, or who does get an endorsement deal, you usually get a percentage off of whatever product you're trying to get. A lot of what I've seen through my endorsements and a bunch of my friends' endorsements, they range from anywhere between 30 to 50% off the product you're trying to go for. Obviously, the more you buy, they'll start working with you for some of those companies. And then also with some of those companies, the longer you're with a company, sometimes they'll give you more, or eventually give you like a freebie down the road. Obviously, some of them will send you free stuff, like shirts and stickers and stuff to wear on stage, hats, so you can also rep the company that way. And that way they get their name out there a little more than you just playing their product. So going back to being realistic, don't go in thinking that if I have these steps, obviously, like being really good and being really professional, and I have all my ducks in a row, don't expect you're going to go into Gibson and get an endorsement deal. Obviously, big companies like that, you're not going to get an endorsement. It's not going to happen. Unless you're a huge artist, it's just, there's no point. I would recommend starting with smaller companies. For instance, my band Eldorado that I used to be in started with smaller companies like Rock and Roll Gangstar, which is a clothing brand, We were talking to Dirtbag Clothing. And then I got on with a guitar pick company, Sinister Guitar Picks, which I'm still with. Those are smaller brands that will take more artists because they are looking for artists to get their product out there. Tip number 4, I know I'm going to get dog for it and a bunch of people are going to give me shit for it, but honestly it has been single-handedly the best tool out of all these for getting all my endorsements. And that would be the NAMM convention. Obviously there's 2 NAMM conventions every year. There's the one in Anaheim, California and the one in Nashville, Tennessee. I've never went to the Nashville one. I've heard that is definitely a little more on the country side of things. Obviously the one in Anaheim, California, there is everything there. There's no better way to make face and meet contacts than the NAMM convention, in my personal opinion. Every endorsement I have ever got has been because of somebody I have met at NAMM. I've made face, I've talked to these people, I've gotten their cards. Usually I wait a couple weeks to email these people, obviously because they're just drowned with a million people saying the same thing, wanting the same thing. But I think it's a great way to make contacts, and if you're able to meet these people without them being busy at the time, obviously don't just bull rush your way into a conversation because you're going to look like a dick. But if you can wait around and seek these people out and just try to make face with them, I think that is one of the biggest things for an endorsement. Obviously, when you get these contacts, you're going to want to stay up on them because they're not going to remember you because they're meeting a million different people at the same time. So that kind of goes back to the whole trying to be different, be professional looking, be interesting looking, and then you'll have a better shot of it. A big thing with this is I wouldn't recommend bringing like CDs or EPKs or any of that stuff to give to them in that aspect because, again, they're getting this from a million different people. They're meeting so many different people who want the same exact thing from them. And they're going to end up in the trash. So your product at that point is at waste. Business cards are a big one, I would think. Or just small things. Even a thumb drive, maybe, that's got your logo or your band name or something on it. That would be more helpful than a big old bulky CD. They're not going to carry that around all day. So yeah, tip number 4 has been a big one for me, and I'm always an advocate for NAMM convention. So if there's a way you can get yourself there, I would definitely get on that. Also with NAMM, I would recommend going at least a couple times before you start doing business, because if you're anything like me, my first year was sensory overload. There were so many things going on that you just get lost. You lose total track of what you're trying to do. Anyways, in my case, I was. And my second year was much more productive, so I would also put that into consideration. Tip number 5, and the final tip, is obviously a given, but it is to be confident. The more confidence you have in yourself, your playing ability, your product in a whole is going to make you look like you're more wanted, you have more of a drive, and that is something that a company like a bigger company is going to see and notice. Obviously, there's a difference between being confident and cocky. Don't recommend being a cocky, arrogant showboater in that way. Obviously, a million people are like that. The whole rock star era thing has kind of died, though, and it just honestly kind of makes you look like a dick. So I recommend not going that route. But confidence will go a long way in the fact that a company can look at you and know that you are good at what you do. So that has been my 5 tips on how I have personally got my endorsements and sponsorships, and hopefully that'll help you guys out in the future if you guys are looking to do the same. If you like this video, definitely give it a share, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.